Hi, my name is Zane Campbell.
Hi, my name is Joanna Bailey.
Hi, I'm Mina Amir.
Hi, I'm Steph Birnbaum.
Michaela Carter.
We're Group 1, and our topic that we chose for this video is the Enron Corporation scandal. We chose this for our topic as it is one of the most famous scandals in U.S. history. I will be discussing the rise of Enron. Enron was formed by the merging of two companies, Houston Natural Gas and Internorth Corporation of Omaha, with the former's CEO, Kenneth Lay, leading the company as CEO and head chairman. Enron was a huge corporation, voted one of the best companies to work for in the 21st century. They had over 20,000 employees under their belt. Fortune magazine voted them America's most innovative company 6 years in a row. By 2001, their total revenue was up to $138 billion.
The collapse of Enron did not happen overnight. It was years of lies and schemes and cover-ups that finally became too big that collapsed the company. In 1992, the SEC approved for Enron to get rid of its traditional cost accounting and change to something called mark-to-market accounting. According to Investopedia.com, mark-to-market accounting is a method of accounting that records the current market price of an asset or a liability on financial statements. Companies use this to show people their estimated profits, not actual profits. Enron did this to increase their investors. People believe this is what started the fall of Enron. Next, Enron wanted to innovate itself. It launched Enron Online as an electronic trading website in October of 1999. The next part of the innovation came from a 20-year partnership with Blockbuster. The video market was a fast-growing market and was supposed to continue growing, but did not grow as fast as it was projected to. These projected big earnings increased Enron's numbers. The fall of Enron began in 2000 when CEO Jeffrey Skilling began to hide financial troubles from using mark-to-market accounting. Enron's accounting would hide the fact Enron was making less money than they were supposed to. They always wanted to look like they had more money than they actually had. Andrew Fastow, who became the financial officer, started these plans and schemes to cover up the fact the company was losing money. Enron closed its doors in December 2001. These events led to the collapse of Enron, but ultimately the lies, schemes, and cover-ups is what led to the collapse.
I'll be talking about the role of Arthur Andersen related to Enron scandal. You must be thinking of what Arthur Andersen has to do with this scandal. At that time, Arthur Andersen was one of the big five accounting firm and had been Enron's auditors for 16 years. As each corporation is required to have an auditor whose job is to monitor a company's financial statements to ensure their numbers are justly represented, and investors receive the transparent information about the corporation before they decide to invest. Arthur Andersen was expected to do the same for Enron but failed to do it. Andrew Fastow, the chief financial officer of Enron, played a prominent role in conspiring with David Duncan, one of the partners of Arthur Andersen, who was in charge of Enron's account. Duncan was paid $1 million as hush money from Enron to conceal company's losses in its quarterly balance sheet. After Enron was exposed for its dealings, Duncan also ordered to destroy all the physical evidence, including emails and data files. In result, Arthur Andersen was convicted for obstruction of justice and pleaded guilty. It received 5-year probation and $500,000 fine. It was Arthur Andersen's job to provide validated information of Enron's financial standing to their customers. Had Arthur Andersen followed the generally accepted accounting principles, which are there to increase the clarity of the statements of financial data and warn the investors about Enron's fraudulent activities, thousands of Enron and Arthur Andersen employees would have never lost their jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars in financial savings and retirement funds.
In conclusion, Enron ended up going bankrupt and out of business due to this scandal. Employees received about $3,100 after the settlement, but that was nothing compared to the life savings or retirement plans they'd originally invested into the stock. Enron had faked the facts to support their financial reporting, saying they were making more money than they actually had. by using projected earnings and their actual earnings. In order to prevent this from happening again, we must preserve the idea that auditors cannot work in their own best interest. Auditing companies must be working in the best interest of the public and not to serve their own bottom line.
I'm going to be talking about what the Enron scandal taught us in terms of leadership. The Enron scandal and its two main heads, Jeffrey Skilling and Kenneth Lays, are a prime example of how not to lead. I would describe the leadership style seen here as pseudo-transformational, especially when speaking about Jeffrey Skilling. James McGregor Burns uses this term to describe a leader who is self-consumed, exploitive, and power-oriented, with warped moral values. Skilling was able to convince those that he was in power over that he had the interest of the greater good in mind because of his innate charm. But it is to my belief that he was more in the business of making money for himself. The Enron scandal was riddled with different conflicts of interest and attempts at personal gain, and this comes no doubt as a result of one man being given full power over one of the most influential companies of the time, especially in a yes-man environment. The issue here is a severe lack of moral character and awareness, which no doubt leads to misconduct within an organization as powerful as Enron. Jeff Skilling did whatever it took to get more money into his company, and being as charismatic a leader as he was, his followers followed him in blind pursuit, while being unaware of the damage and deceit that was going on right under their noses. Lastly, Enron taught us the dire importance of valid checks and balances on those in power. There was a failure of that here, especially in the case of Arthur Andersen. Auditors are one of the main units used to check the validity of an organization's accounts, and Arthur Andersen failed to do this and fell victim to the charm and money of Jeffrey Skilling. Overall, the Enron scandal was helpful in teaching us the need for governance over those in leadership and the disadvantages of self-interested, power-hungry leaders.